you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you're joining me from. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Accept my greeting according to your time zone. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You can be among the first to receive it. Then go to the comment section at all times. Leave your comment, drop your contribution. If you have suggestions, make it out there. If you have any criticism, put it down on the comment section. It will make us to get better, presenting you a better program. Thank you so much.
Like the popular saying, very huge sacrifices and contribution to the success of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the last 2023 February 25th presidential election. We are also taking into cognizance the fact that the South-South geopolitical zone is not just the economic hub of the country, but it's a zone that has since remained the treasure base of the country, and it has to be a deliberate and conscious attempt to pacify the zone at all times to maintain peace, tranquility, and stability of the Nigerian political atmosphere. It is only under an atmosphere of peace and stability that you can have the environment and the atmosphere to pursue legitimate aspirations both at the geopolitical level and at the federal level. Conscious of the fact that this zone contributed so much to the success of the APC in the last presidential election, and aware that the entire South-South zone is the threshold of the opposition PDP, the APC was able to penetrate to the point that they got more than 45% of the votes in the entire 6 states of the South-South. In Rivers, the APC came tops. In the other 5 states, the APC came second. That contributed in no small measure in ensuring that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was able to meet the constitutional requirement of 25% distribution of votes that made up the 28 or 29 states that he scored to be declared the president-elect. We are aware of the agitations, the clamor, and the yearnings of other geopolitical zones, particularly the Southeast zone. But just like the saying goes, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. The Southeast geopolitical zone did not come with clean hands in appreciating the presidential candidate of the APC prior to the election, during the election, and even after the election. And we don't want to be bogged down or detained with the usual narrative of seeing some kind of sense of entitlement under the wrong notion that the country is sitting on a tripod. This country is sitting more than a tripod. Those who will call Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo as making up that tripod are only being selfish, parochial, self-serving, and do not understand the concept of sub-nations within the larger nation in building and sustaining egalitarian politics in a plural society such as Nigeria. And so for us, it is not just crucial, it is essential that we must promote, sustain, and consciously nurture a sense of belonging and politics of inclusion of other zones, so that the whole concept of power distribution will be equitably done to accommodate both the minorities and the majorities. The Southeast Zone has been one of the strongest beneficiaries of this legislature. They have produced 5 Senate presidents in the last 24 years. We have Evans Ewerem, we have Wabara, we have Juba Okadibu, we have Senator Anyim, we have Senator Kent Namani. All 5 of them, having served as Senate President for solid 8 years, have taken more than a larger share of the 24 years of our democracy, of our Fourth Republic. If you add that one, 8 years, plus the 12 years that they serve as Deputy Senate President, that means in 24 years, they have been in the saddle for 8 and second position for 12, making 20 years of serious involvement in the business of parliamentary conduct and business of lawmaking and headship of the legislature. Now, in 2023, the political algorithms have shifted away from the Southeast. We find it curious that the Southeast APC members who contested for Senate got themselves elected by scoring as much as 40,000, 42,000 votes in their senatorial districts. But when it came to the presidential election, their candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, was scoring miserably an abysmal figure, ranging from 6,000 and maybe the highest we saw in a state was 40,000. So, in the entire 5 states of the Southeast, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not score 5%, let alone 20% or 25%, as the case may be. If the South Side had not given support in the entire 6 states to score more than 45% of the votes, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu would not have emerged as the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today. So, we raised some posers. How come a senator will score as much as 40,000 votes? And in the same election that was conducted the same time, the same process, the same balloting and all of that, scoring their presidential candidates as miserable as 3,000 votes, 6,000 votes, and therefrom. So, we did not smell rat, we smell a deliberate conspiracy to deny the APC candidate the position of president. Of course, we are conscious and aware of the candidates they openly supported for the presidential, while they seem to have negotiated their own victory at the senatorial level during the elections. So, having come with such abysmal figures and performance, it is curious for them to be asking for the number 3 position. So we of this coalition are of the strong belief that if you want to partake in sharing of the food, you must also partake in the process of cooking that meal. Gone were the days when people would bring up manners of emotions and sentiments to becloud our sense of justice and fairness in power sharing, power acquisition, and power distribution. We are calling on distinguished Senator Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, having been a senator before, and knowing that the legislature has a tradition of ensuring that laws are made for the good governance of the country, for him to consider zoning the position of Senate presidency to the South-South geopolitical zone. Anything short of that will be like robbing Peter to pay Paul. And with the kind of contribution, support, and sacrifices that the zone made to ensure in the cooking of the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu meal, we are expecting to grab our own portion of it. I am very conscious not to discuss even the issue of religious balancing. But in view of the fact that the same faith ticket of the APC candidate became one of the most discussed issues before and after the election, even though I personally would not want to be detained by those sentiments, we also need to balance those kind of configurations and considerations in ensuring that the number 3 and number 4 positions are ceded to other religions. I didn't mention Christian religion alone because there are other religions, but at least we know already that the Muslim ticket has taken on one of the religions. So this is a clarion call to the president-elect. This is a clarion call to the leadership of the APC. This is a clarion call to opinion holders, stakeholders of the Nigerian political edifice. This is a clarion call to those who matter, that they should bury their personal, self-serving, egocentric ambitions and look at the larger picture of the Nigerian Federation. The picture that will engender stability, that will engender politics of inclusion, politics of participation, politics of accommodation within the geopolitics of the country, to strike the right chord in dispensing and delivering the dividends of democracy to every part of the country. When you see that position to the South-South, we will produce, using the instrumentality of the legislature, to choose a candidate that best suits them. But of course, we are conscious of the fact that democracy can only make meaning to people when there is a sense of belonging. And actions should naturally be rewarded. Positive actions should be rewarded in the concept of how much effort you put into it, other than rewarding someone of trying to exploit politics of entitlement, as though Nigeria were to be a country sitting on the tripod arrangement. So, whether we like it or not, we of the South-South, myself in particular, I have been at the forefront of those very few Nigerians who commended the position of the northern APC governors within the APC party when they came out in their numbers, 14 of them, to ask that power should be ceded to the South. For me, they remain heroes of this democracy of 2023. They did not just supported the southern candidature of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, they also worked assiduously to ensure that they were able to break the northern bogey that the candidate of the PDP was championing, as if he were, as if he was already endorsed by the North. We saw the outcome of all of that support. We say bravo to those APC northern governors. We commend their selflessness, their understanding of the intricate logic of the Nigerian Federation, their understanding of the fact that after 8 years of presidency in the north, it should naturally be the turn of the south. And this time, they massed their support for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And today, we are celebrating that victory. The South-South geopolitical zone is also conscious of the fact that it has worked in alliance with their northern counterparts. In the politics, starting from 1960 to date, there has always been that understanding, symbiotic relationship in the way and manner they engage politics of collectivism rather than that of individualism. And so for me, it is cheering news that a lot of our northern governors would naturally support this, our call for South-South Senate presidency. They would naturally support our call for equity, fairness, and justice in confronting the challenges before the new president-elect, in stabilizing the polity for the next 4 years, ensuring that a sense of inclusion, a sense of belongingness is consciously and deliberately charted in the politics of the nation. So, my other colleagues here will have one or two other things to add. But just to conclude by saying that the South-South geopolitical zone needs to be accommodated, needs to be commended, needs to be included in the larger political interests across the country. And so, we are appealing to you all, the media, the stakeholders, other participants in the Nigerian political polity, to please support this call for South-South Senate presidency. Every other position, speakership, deputy Senate president, deputy speaker, can be properly, allocated and appropriated to the respective zones based on their contribution, based on the concept of fairness and balance of both sentiments, emotions, and religious consideration. Otherwise, the APC might find it difficult to run away from the narration that is gaining currency, that there is an attempt to Islamize the country. The APC president-elect that I know is one of very dispassionate and very pro-Nigerian, pro all the geopolitical zones, pro all religions, in the way and manner he would discharge his responsibility. He's a man who understands the strategic position and relevance of every geopolitical zone, and he knows how to apply his wisdom in carrying everybody along. But essentially, ours is an appeal, and that appeal is very fundamental to the continuing survival of this country as a plural nation with several competing interests, several diversities that when massed together can produce the equilibrium that we need to move the ship of state forward. Thank you for coming this afternoon. My colleagues who want to add one or two things to deepen the narrative. Thank you, Henry Umoru. I know you are a veteran in the National Assembly, but my interest and our interest as a coalition is purely for the geopolitical zone of South-South. Every state in the South-South is considered as one because we believe in equity, we believe in struggle, we believe in fighting causes that are against our interests, and we also believe in fighting causes that are positive to our interests to make them better. So, the South-South geopolitical zone is taken as a whole, holistically, and will advance this discussion on the basis of the geopolitics and not on individual consideration. When they get to the bridge, when the APC party zones to the South-South leaders, opinion molders, stakeholders, and players will sit in a room to take a decision that will be far-reaching for the interests of the region and the collective interests of the nation at large. Let me make the point also that the APC won this election without any inhibition. People are tending to forget that presently the outcome of the 2023 election has APC producing 20 governors, majority House of Rep members, majority senators, majority House of Assembly members. How then would you now think that the presidential elections APC will have lost? It is not logical, and it is not sensible. So those who are championing the discussion and the narrative that, oh, they won election, even when they refuse to deepen their own campaign on the basis of a pan-Nigerian orientation, they should have a rethink. Let's move forward. They should display the spirit of sportsmanship and take the larger interests of Nigerians at heart rather than pursuing self-serving, egocentric interests that cannot advance the cause of a plural society like Nigeria. So if you have questions, you can ask one or two. Otherwise, we can call it a day. You have a question? Okay, go ahead. And the place of the South-South in the 10th Assembly has to be grounded in logic, accommodation, inclusion, and buying-in. So you are not going to see the kind of squabbles you may be expecting. We speak as one voice. We're also reaching out to other zones for them to see reasons with us. Ours is an appeal, a very passionate one at that, considering our importance and relevance in the collective enterprise called Nigeria.
Chief complainer and co-complainer. Can we rise please for the national anthem so that we pull this to a close, please?
Where is the document?